Hi, everybody. Welcome to a live pop-up show, Living with Annietude, today at 2 p.m. on a Friday. I'm in my comfy clothes. My sweatshirt says Comfy AF on it, and that's how I'm chilling today. And we have a really cool guest that totally is aligned with every message that I send, and I can't wait to get to know him better. But before I do, I'm making this plug for a friend. She has no idea I'm saying this. But I got this amazing package in the mail today from Jen's Happy Mail. So it's Jen Zahari, a friend of mine and someone that I've met via LinkedIn. And she has this company, jenshappymail.com, J-E-N-S Happy Mail, H-A-P-P-Y mail.com. And she's the chief happiness officer. Check this out. I get this note. It says, sharing a little bit of happy one box at a time, right? And it says a quote at the top, helping one person might not change the world, but it could change the world for one person, which I think is such a phenomenal quote. It says, this Happy Mail was brought to you with the intent of bringing a bit of happy in an otherwise stressful, chaotic world. At Jen's Happy Mail, we believe each act of kindness can help give strength when it may be needed most. My mission is to reduce loneliness in America and bring awareness to support needed for those suffering from anxiety and depression. We are doing this by providing tools to help people spread a bit of happy in the world to those who need it. Oftentimes, people just want to know someone who cares. That moment can change everything for that person. Visit us at jenshappymail.com to learn more. Subscribe to get a little bit of happy each month or send out some happy mail. I just think this is amazing. I got bath soap. I got journals. I got a candle, like the Zen candle. I am just like, nothing could, truly, this made me so happy. So Jen, you did your job. You're amazing. I'm so grateful and appreciative for this box of goodies. And now I'd like to bring on my guest. Sorry for babbling for the first 2 minutes, but this meant a lot to me. And I thought it's important for more people to go to her site and check out what's going on. Send somebody a gift. It could seriously change the person's month, week, year. Welcome to our world here on Living with Annietude, Dr. Sherman Green. Hi.
Hi, how are you doing?
I am really good. I'm really, really good today. And for anybody that follows me or watches my show, I have been in kind of a little bit of a rut, like a little bit of a stuck spot. So it's nice to see somebody can come out of it by doing the work, whether it's journaling, meditation, talking about it, reaching out for help, asking for support, all of these things.
Yes.
But so this is the product of somebody who tries to do the work and tries to practice as she preaches. But Sherman, I don't know you very well. I'm just excited to talk to you and find out more because from what I saw from your LinkedIn profile, we're very much aligned. Would you give me a little bio about yourself and kind of tell me a little bit about the mission that you're on?
Absolutely. So thanks again for this great opportunity. That was a great message that you got from your friend. I mean, helping one person is going to change their life. And, you know, you can't change everybody's, but if you can change somebody's life, I think that's just really powerful. So great message. But no, so I am an executive life coach, and I am the CEO of Strategic Directions, which is my company. And I specialize in just helping individuals and organizations and just navigating them towards their goals, whatever they may be. And recently, I've been helping a lot of individuals just try to find their new niche in life because, you know, we had such a hard 2020 and people are wanting to really come out of that funk and go over to a new year and just really try to find something else that they're good at and just trying to find a new niche that is going to fit for their new way of living. So that's been really exciting to be a part of. But it's really just a joy for me as a life coach to help individuals just find their way, navigating them towards whatever they're looking to accomplish, and just letting them find their aha moment. And what I define that as the moment, the epiphany, when that person realizes all of the inner strengths and all of the potential that they have, and they're able to execute some of the things that they want to use or go towards using the strengths that they've had inside the entire time. So if I can have somebody to tap into that, that is my life's joy. So that's really in a nutshell what I've been doing for quite some time. It's been a great journey. I love seeing people just prosper and succeed. So it's a really, really lucrative and just great career to be in. And I'm
that is. How did it, we don't have the best connection. Do you think that it's, I don't know that it's on my end. It might be on your end. Are you in a good internet spot? It's a little bit grainy, and like I just want to make sure we're on the same wave.
Well, I mean, it's fine on my end,
A little
but
bit better now. Looks a little bit better. Okay,
okay.
so maybe it's me. But so how did it get started for you? Like, how did you one day decide? Was it just one day? Was it gradual? Like, how did things sort of develop in your career?
That's a really good question. So actually, before I was in life coaching, I worked over 15 years in higher education. So I worked in colleges and universities. And in 2017, I got my life coaching certification. And I just started to implement it into the work that I was doing at the college that I was working at. And I would say probably July of 2018, I just felt confined in that space that I was in life. And it just didn't feel the same. And honestly, I just said, I'm not really feeling what I'm doing anymore. I'm just going to quit and find my new avenue in life.
Do what you're now doing for people, it seems.
Right. Yeah. And I took a huge leap of faith. I mean, I had no job to go to or didn't really have the structure of the business just yet. So it took me probably 4 or 5 months just to get, things situated for my business. And 2019 rolled around and I was able to just network and meet people and just kind of, get a good footing for my business. But it actually just took a gradual push for me to get to this place because, that unhappiness on the job can really be really effective and really weigh on you mentally. And it had gotten to that place for me. So now I'm at a place where I just have that fulfillment of what I'm doing.
I completely understand. Do you think that experience, Sherman, has helped you to sort of be able to coach people better because you've gone through that, where as somebody who maybe just becomes a life, like I'm trying to find out your differentiator, like what makes you stand out? I'd love to hear your sort of version of what makes you special at this.
So I absolutely had to live through so many different experiences to get me to this point and to understand where people are coming from. In my current, my former experiences, I was always the person that listened to people and helped them and gave them advice or just, gave them that listening ear that they weren't able to get from other people and to help them along their way. And I didn't know that I was life coaching at that time. Right. That's what I was doing the entire time. And so for me, it's just been all throughout my years, not even as an adult, even as a child, I was doing this. I had been doing this for such a long time.
Yeah, so it's sort of like in our blood. That's what we did.
In our blood, in our DNA. And it just resonated with me so much to just go towards doing this because all my life I have been just helping people and helping them, get to their goals or, being invested in them to the point where I wanted to see them prosper or I wanted to see them succeed. And I was life coaching essentially. So for me, this is just my heart. This is who I am. It's in me. So for me, my differentiation is that I have been a life coach even before life coaching was a thing. Yeah. So
do you consider yourself an empath? I mean, we've talked about this a ton on my show, but I mean, you're speaking the language of somebody like me who can feel other people's feelings and sort of knows, how to lead other people because your own experiences. I don't know, like if that word resonates with you or you identify with that word.
I definitely identify with being an empath. I have a sincere heart of listening to people and not just listening, but putting myself in their shoes because, I just can't hear someone going through terrible times or for them to be, really emotional or crying about something and not also feel that way too. Right. So there have been several times when I've had really, really sad occasions with people and they've broken down and started crying. And I've done the same because I'm able to sense where they are and how they're feeling at the time. So yes, I'm definitely an empath, and I think it works well in this profession because you really have to have that type of attitude or that way of feeling in order to really connect to your clients. You have to have that connection.
Absolutely. Now, let me ask you this: to get on a really, really transparent level, does that ever affect you negatively? Because I will tell you that I've had to draw really, really strong, fierce boundaries so that when I have my clients, and I'm not a coach, but when I consult with people for a living, and I have had to draw just really thick lines and boundaries so that I'm not sort of sucked into that, because I feel it too. I feel like what my neighbor's feeling down the street, like I just have that kind of heart and I'm that kind of feeler.
Yes.
So it can be very detrimental if you're not sure how to hone it in. Do you agree?
You have to, most definitely, you have to have those boundaries in order to protect your safe space, because it's terrible when people go through really hard times and you want to be there for everybody, but there comes a time when you have to say, okay, enough. Even if it means, okay, let me turn off the TV. Let me turn off my phone for a few hours. Let me just recharge my batteries so that I can get back to who I am. Because if I don't do that, then I'm not going to be any good for anybody or myself. So yes, creating those boundaries is very important. Absolutely.
Hi, Rob. How are you? Glad to see you here. Yeah, I mean, coming back to center, I think coming back to the breath and just remembering that, like, we can't solve the world's problems. It's like, I don't know if you ever feel this, but I used to, before I really started with this boundary work, I used to get more frustrated when I couldn't solve it. Like I wanted to, and that's a control, I think. I think when I couldn't fix it, I wanted to fix everything. And a lot of times it's more listening and guiding. Do you find that?
Yes. There's a lot more listening and guiding, because we want to answer and solve problems for people. But the thing is, especially in life coaching, we can't do that. Our job is just to listen and to help them craft the answers that are best suited for them. And so in that situation, there are a lot of times when I want to say, okay, don't you want to do this? But they don't want to do that. But it's that part of me that's wanting to look out for their best interest. However, whatever their answer is going to be, then you have to help just guide them to that answer without putting your input into it. But yes, that is definitely something that I've come to kind of gravitate towards. And I'll also say this. I've really been finding that mindfulness, just taking some time to be present and be in the moment, just meditating, focusing on just where you are right now, really helps you to not want to take on all the issues that everybody else is wanting to, take on. It's really been helping me to keep centered, and also helps my clients to keep centered as well, because, it's very human of us to want to always think about the things that's going on or could possibly go on or go on in the future or in the past, but we have to stay here. We have to stay right here so that we don't get overwhelmed.
Why do you think that sound? I just wrote this to somebody. Why do you think that concept sounds so damn simple, but it's so not easy? Why why? And how do you get there if you're not there?
Well, because life is too complicated for something that's simple. It takes you to even give it a try or incorporating it into your routine until it becomes a part of you for it to really even be effective. But it takes, just trying it out first to see how simple it is. When we hear something like that, it's easy to say, I'm not doing that. No, I don't have time to do that.
You can't do that. I don't do that.
I got bills to pay. I have a job to do. I have kids. I have to cook dinner. But when you do it, when someone actually does do it and tries it out, incorporates it into their routine, it becomes a part of them, and then it becomes simple. But it takes trying it in order for it to resonate on how simple it is to do. But prior to that, absolutely, they're going to say, no, I'm not doing this crap. This is ridiculous. It never works for me. I got a ton of stuff to do. That's for somebody else, not me. But life just seems so complicated.
Make a good point. When you didn't even use the word, but what you were intimating was that it's a practice.
It's a practice.
And I think people forget that, and they want to meditate or they want to get mindful and they do it for like a day. And they're like, I don't, and it's like, this is what I've said to many people. I'm not a very right here person. Okay. I'm all over the map. but it takes practice for me
Right.
to be cued in the way that I am. This is a long time in the making of, someone that's done the work, does the work, tries to implement what I preach on a daily basis. And it takes time. This is not an overnight fix,
It's not.
and
It's not.
and it also isn't, Sherman, I don't know if you agree with me on this too. It's not like this, you could turn everything into something positive. It's really not just like spinning, oh, well, things could be worse. Yeah, things can always be worse, right? We can always but like, that's really hard when you're in the midst of like the rut, or you're not sure what to do with your career, or you're feeling all over the place and you're feeling stuck.
Yes.
It's really hard to be like, well, I'm just going to be positive about this.
Yes.
That's not really like, that doesn't
It's not
work.
a switch. It's not a switch. It's not an on and off type thing. So that's kind of what I try to focus on in coaching the very first session or two, just to start reframing that mindset, that fixed mindset that you've had about something, and trying to turn it into a learning mindset. So first, second, maybe even third session, it's going to be a lot of change talk, but there's going to be some resistance from the client because they have been trained to be programmed on one way about something. And it's going to take those times of talking to them and just talking about certain things to get them to reframe their fixed mindset into a learning mindset. So yes, it's not something that comes overnight. It takes weeks, sometimes months, in order to transition into a different way of thinking or programming yourself to think. And it also takes examples. When you start to kind of feed the things that you need to start feeding in yourself, they start to grow, they start to blossom. So originally, of course, if you're being fed positive stuff and you've been trained to think negatively for such a long time, of course, it's going to take a lot longer for that positive stuff to be fed into your spirit.
Sure, but you're reframing, rewiring everything.
Absolutely. You're having to start from ground zero. So it's going to take some time to build yourself up and to start gravitating to that positive stuff. And then the positive stuff starts to come to you because you're starting to feed it more. Yes. And once you feed it more, you see the results of it and you say, oh, I can get with this. And then that's when the mind starts to shift.
Mind starts to change. But it's a marathon, not a sprint, right?
It's a marathon. Sure. Absolutely. It's not something that happens just overnight.
Rob would like to know, how do I break off in meditation and everyday struggles? I think he means like in the midst of, I'm not totally sure of the question, but I think he means in the midst of everything, how do you stop and meditate? I think I'm going to let you take this one. I mean, I could take it, but go for it.
Well, I would love to hear what you have to say as well. But as I've been saying to clients who are trying to, incorporate this mindfulness, when you get to that point where you know that you are stressed and you are not any good, that's the moment. That is the moment that you say, okay, you know what? I'm going to step away. Let me find a YouTube clip on some mindfulness, maybe 3 to 5 minutes. Let me just give myself 3-5 minutes and just let it do its thing and just get present. And then once you do that, that's when you kind of notice that you kind of level off a little bit. But when you get to that point, that's the perfect time to do it.
And it's so funny that you say that, because I find in my own, part of what I think makes me good at what I do with people is that I've experienced like everything. Like I've like rarely a feeling that I'm like, I don't know what that feels like. Like I have so many emotions I've experienced in life experience. And that's what people say, how are you qualified? I'm like, my life. Like that's how. So I always, when I get stuck, the last thing I want to do is write in a gratitude journal. The last thing I want to do, when I'm pissed off and in the midst and the stress is here and leaning on my chest, is write down a gratitude list. But God, is that when I need to do it? It is right then.
It's powerful. A gratitude list is something that is so important to keep you on the map of knowing just how blessed you are, even in the midst of you just being pissed off at the world.
Yes.
Even when something terrible, a tragedy has happened, there are so many other great things that you can write down that have already happened to you. Yes, absolutely.
And it brings you back to center. It brings you back to, because when you're in that space, at least for me, I feel like I'm very like always and never, that mentality, like sometimes, and I feel like everything stinks. And it's like, it just brings you back to zero, and you're like, wait a minute. Everyone doesn't think this might be horrible, and we're going to get through this. But these things are wonderful. The health of my children, whatever it is that I'm listing, even like the sun on my face when I have coffee in the morning, like little things, big things, it doesn't matter, but it brings me so back to center. And I think it's so important, like you said, and you make it sound so easy. And I think it really is. The concept is hard, but 3 to 5 minutes. I feel like everybody has 3 to 5 minutes.
Everybody has 3 to 5 minutes. We all do. We all have. Yes. But what you said also was just so powerful, because when you do get to that moment, everything starts to kind of suck. Everything sucks. When you have that breaking, everything starts to suck. The snowball effect, it just kind of continues to get bigger and bigger and bigger. But like you said, you take that moment to just write something down about something you're grateful for, or doing some mindfulness for that 3 to 5 minutes, and it brings you right back. Because you start to
is that your like, if someone was just to start out, if somebody said, I'm listening to Annie and Sherman today, and that next time I'm going to do that tomorrow, would you suggest just going to YouTube just for like a 3 to 5 minute mindfulness type thing, just to start?
That's a great way to start. Absolutely. It's a great way to start. I actually start my sessions either with mindfulness, something to that effect, or having them to tell me what they were grateful for the previous day.
Interesting.
So it's very, very funny that you mentioned that part of it, because I also start with that.
Yeah,
I either will start with the gratefulness or end with the gratefulness.
They're both so important. And it's interesting how, when I have discussions like this, it always comes back to this. Like, it's like I have now, hopefully my dad's not watching. Everybody that follows me knows this, but I have a tattoo, but don't tell my dad, because I think he would. Like, I've said this live before, but my one tattoo is hidden on my body, but it says breath. It says the word breath, because when everything else fails, when you are stripped me of everything, you can take everything from me, but that's mine. I can always come back to the breath. And I have it on me. Obviously, if I'm going to, tattoo something on me, it is so super important to me, and such a reminder that I want to see every day, and that I can go back to when I need a reminder. I think it's so super important to remember that you can always come back to that. That if everything else is a mess, you have that. And that I'm grateful for in and of itself.
It's powerful. You have to get to that place, though, where you can realize that. And I think that's where those initial steps come in handy so strongly, because when you start to develop those habits and that routine, it becomes a part of you, like I said. And that's how you just really start to observe it and start to really just take it all in. And you're feeding that growth in you that needs to grow.
Yes, and you're evolving. And growing. And it's painful. It's not easy to evolve and grow. It's not easy to transform and rewire and do all these things. It can be very painful, but I really feel like the light on the other side is truly really worth it. I mean, I have yet to hear somebody say, I practice all these things and I've been doing this for this amount of time and it really stinks. Like, you don't hear that, you really hear people being like, it changed my life. It changed my perspective. It changed my world. It changed my outcomes. It changed the way I think, the things that I started to live a life of abundance. And I mean, I really try to preach this as you do, because and it's the first step, Sherman. People coming to me or you. We're not going out and like banging on doors trying to help people. Like if they're coming to us, I commend those people. That's the first step. I had a number of, I don't know if you saw it, but I put up a post, and it said, I'm opening up 10 slots for complimentary consultation, half hour in the next 2 weeks. And I mean, I made a video about it just now and posted it, actually, that the response was unbelievable. And it made me a couple things. It made me appreciative and grateful that people felt comfortable. And of course, it made me say, well, then, I can build my business like this, and I can add to my client base, right? But then it made me feel sad, because I thought, God, all of these wonderful people are stuck. And that made me sad. But then I came back full circle with my Annietude. And I thought to myself, but you know what? I commend these people for coming to me, right? That's a win. So if if you're reaching out and you're getting help and you're going to those people that want to help you and you're saying, I need something right now, something's wrong, something's off.
Yes.
You know, and you're coming to somebody like Dr. Green or myself or any of the people that are, you know, out there willing and able, Kelly Blackman being one of them. Hi, Kelly. Oh, thank you. Sometimes I don't know where the energy comes from. It just sort of comes out what I'm talking about, what I'm passionate about. But I have to say that I went full circle with my emotions. I was like, yes, some people I can consult with. Oh, that makes me really sad. But wait, they're coming to me. That's so exciting. I went like this, it was like a mood swing, you know?
Right.
And I don't know if you feel that way, but I definitely feel like, wow, I'm so impressed with you. You know, strangers reached out to me and said, Annie, help me get unstuck.
It's not easy. It's not easy to realize that you are stuck about something and then to take it even further to find someone to help you get out of that place of being stuck. That's hard.
Yes.
That's something that people don't tend to bring up a lot, but I definitely try to say that to anybody who even reaches out for that 30-minute consultation just to see if there's something that they want to, you know, pursue. It takes a lot of courage to do this because some people do that rut forever and they never seek anybody to help them.
And to your point, people get, and we're nearing the end of our half hour, and I have an important question I want to ask you, but people get very comfortable in that discomfort of being stuck. People get, it's hard to explain, but like you get in this rut area where you're like, this is just where I am. And it's discomfort, but you're comfortable in it. And you're like, I'm just like a stuck person. And I'm not going to ever be. And it's like, just remember that you don't have to be in this uncomfortable place. We can help you out of it. Right.
Right. Yes.
And so I wanted to ask, go ahead.
No, go ahead. It's just very important to be able to help those type of people. That's all.
I wanted to ask you, this is one of my favorite questions, and it always brings out such a good answer in people. I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but do you have an aha moment, like in your lifetime or your career or whatever, where you just went like, wow, and you just said, it was like your aha, if you were on Oprah and she asked you what your aha moment was, what was it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. My aha moment was June 22nd, 2018. And that was
you didn't even know the date.
Yeah, I remember it. I remember it was an epiphany. It was that moment when I said, these walls are caving me in. I feel stuck. It was a Friday. And I just said to myself, this isn't it anymore. I'm not doing this anymore. And it took me 2 months. Well, it took me about a month to kind of be 2 months roughly. It took me 2 months to be in that space to realize I don't want to do this anymore. Like, this is caving me in. So I'm going to do something else. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to do something else. And in that moment, I just kind of started thinking about the life coaching on a full-time basis. How would that look? What would I do with it? All this stuff. But it all happened in that one moment. And I didn't make the move until the end of July. That was when I just made the leap. But that was my aha moment.
That's when you're being sucked in by your passion, and you're definitely, I can tell just from talking to you for a half an hour that you're in the right career and you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. And, you are helping people so much. It's really incredible. Dr. Green, how do people find you if they want to find you besides LinkedIn?
So I have a website, Dr. S. Green, that's drsgreen.com. I am on every social media platform, Facebook. You can just type in Strategic Directions or Dr. Sherman Green, either one, I'll pop up. I'm on Instagram. You can find me the same way. And of course, LinkedIn, just Dr. Sherman Green. I am as accessible as possible.
Kelly says, thanks for sharing what that looks like, Dr. Green. We need to see it to be it. I love that. I love that. That is so powerful. It was beyond a pleasure to just have you on and chat with you. You're an amazing person. And it was just so nice to learn about what you're doing and helping people. And I hope that, when people watch the replay or whatever, that they're driven to come visit you and talk to you and connect with you, because I think you can really, really impact the world.
Annie, thank you. You are impacting the world. So I appreciate what you're doing and using all of the wonderful gifts that you have and spreading it for everybody to see.
Thank you so much. And I will speak with you soon. I'm grateful for everybody that watched, and I appreciate you very much. Have an awesome weekend. All right.